to Wyatt Scott's Coffee Talk, nighttime edition. So, using this mic, sorry, because I know my videos haven't been loud enough. Hopefully you can hear it now. So, I wanted to do this video on this guitar. This is a 2005 Epiphone Les Paul Standard. Got the glued-in neck, the binding, the thicker body, you know, like a regular Gibson Les Paul. Nice instrument. I got it. It was ebony, all black, you know, standard black, boring. And I did like a poor man relic job on it. I sanded it and polished it out and unveiled the underpinnings of the guitar, and it's this beautiful like tiger stripe kind of going on. And if you hold it up and look at it like this, it definitely looks 3D. It's pretty rad. It's really cool. I don't understand how they do it. Like it looks 3D. It's crazy. It's really neat. Anyway, so that was cool. That was fun. You know, I've been rebuilding a lot of these Epiphones lately. So I'm gonna post this on my Reverb shop, Wyatt Scott's Guitar Shop, for sale tonight, along with some others of these guitars that I've rebuilt. I'm gonna be posting them over the next couple days for sale. So if you're interested, check it out. And what you'll get is a nice rebuilt, custom, one-of-a-kind guitar. Because of the finish I do, there's nothing else like them. And they look cool, unique. They look dirty. That's part of the aesthetic. You know, they're not perfect. There's scratches on them. There's dings here and there. I mean, most of these guitars I got were in, some were okay, pretty good condition, and then something like this was in really poor condition and needed a lot of rebuilding and love, which I gave it, and now it's awesome. It's never probably sounded or played better in its whole life since it was manufactured. And so I just wanted to run down the parts, like if you are the one that wanted to buy it, what you'd get. So I'll start from here and go this way. These are Guyker locking tuners. They're about 40 bucks, 45 bucks, Amazon. And Guyker is really a great lower cost alternative to the higher price, you know, top of the brand guitar parts. And I would highly recommend them if you need like new tuners, or they have other things too, you know, like pickup rings. They even do pickups, I think. They do all sorts of things, and it's cheap and it's pretty good. It's really good quality, actually. Like, I have no complaints. I got a couple of their lower cost ones first. I bought 2 or 3 sets of them. These chrome, like $25, $30 deals, and they are unfortunately prone to breaking strings on the B&E for some reason. I don't know if the pin is sharp or what's going on there, but that's something I've never experienced with any, you know, high quality locking tuner. These are Guyker locking tuners, which really help with the tuning stability, of course, because you don't have to wind, you know, a lot of wraps, and so there's no slippage that's going to happen with these locking tuners, and they're super easy to restring, very convenient. Anyway, so Guyker, yeah. Then there's these truss rod covers that I buy, and it's a guy on eBay, and he sells these out of Japan, and they're really cool, and they come in all sorts of different kind of styles and stuff, not just girls. There's all sorts of cool designs he does, flames, skulls, all sorts of things. So I highly recommend this guy. And who is this? Let me tell you who that is real quick. Hell Guitars, okay, on eBay. Hell Guitars. There you go. They're also made for different guitars. Like there are 3 holes for these Epiphones, and then there's 2 holes for a regular Gibson Standard, and different guitars, Fenders, I think, whatnot. So he's got you covered based on what guitar you have. PRS, and they're die-cast metal, I believe, and they're just really nice. I mean, as far as truss rod covers go, I've never seen anything this great, this cool for like literally like under 20 bucks. He's selling these things for, so it's a no-brainer purchase for me anyway. All right, so moving on, we've got a Graphtec black tusk nut here, okay, and I've been learning and teaching myself over the last year or so how to set up guitars, and I'm getting pretty good at it. You know, I've set up probably 15 to 20 guitars now, and so repetition is key, like anything, you know, 10,000 hours, but I made a ton of progress, and what's really helped me is Music Nomad tools, guitar setup tools, everything from their fret toolbox, which is like 300 bucks, fret levelers, fret rulers to do fret work, and then the setup tools to do the action, the truss rod adjustment, the nut height adjustment, which involves filing these nuts. So that's nice, and super stable tuning now with the nut, the locking tuners, and this is a Guyker Bridge. Okay, and so that's like a $20 deal. And they're really good. I mean, for the money, they're awesome. They have these Allen wrench screw holes on both. So if you take your strings off, these don't fall off. They stay in place, which is really nice. So yeah, so I've got the nut filed to the correct height. I've got the truss rod dialed in nice. I've got the bridge, the string height, and I've set the string height on this guitar. Every guitar, you'd find this out if you started doing setups on guitars. Every guitar is its own thing. No 2 guitars are exactly alike, and the way you can really tell that is when you go to set them up. Some guitars just don't want to go as low on the action as others, and that can just deal with a lot of different things, you know, micromillimeters of neck level going away from the body might be a little different from another Gibson or Epiphone. I mean, the tolerances are really nice. I know they've got that dialed, but it just seems to me, by doing about 15, 20 guitars now, that not every guitar is the same, and they require different tunings and fine tweakings and adjustments. And so you use the Music Nomad tools as a baseline to work towards, and sometimes you just can't get them there. So this guitar, for some reason, I don't know what it is. It could be that the frets are a little worn. There's still plenty of metal there, so and it plays great. The deal though, for me to get it so it was playing good, was it's got a medium high action. Okay, so if you're wanting a super low action, you know, shred mount monster, that's probably not the guitar for you. But if you can still shred on it, and I'm gonna play it in a second and show you that you can get around on it just fine. But it just doesn't feel good with the action low. It feels better with a medium high action. Bending feels a lot better. Just the playability sounds a lot, everything sounds a lot better on it. So that's kind of, you know, a unique thing. Again, like I've got all these guitars I've built in this room around me. Can't see them all, but every one of them has required a little bit of different fine tuning on the height truss rod adjustments. I mean, they're in the ballpark. They're all in the same ballpark according to the Music Nomad. But again, it's not like everyone's exactly the same precise, adjustment. Anyway, I know that's long-winded, but it's just something to note. If you're working towards learning how to set up your own guitars, it's not rocket science. All right, I waited way too long. I'm 56 now. I started playing guitar when I was 15 in 1985, and I just wish that, one, the internet had been around back then for the learning and knowledge base that it provides us with, which is awesome, of course. You can learn all sorts of things these days that you never could really learn before, right? Because you didn't have access to that knowledge. And setting up guitars was one of them. So, well, yeah, I still lagged, and you know what it was? It's because I was being a pussy, right? I was scared. Oh, I can't do it. I'm a CPA, a certified public accountant, right? So, not to sound too arrogant, but like the CPA exam they say it's harder to pass than the bar exam, right? So I passed that, but yet I'm scared of learning how to set up a guitar. So our brains do weird shit, man, sometimes. I mean, mine certainly does, right? So I'm a freak, what can I say? But I don't know, for some reason I just couldn't nut up and like dive in and go, oh, I can do this, right? And I don't know why, but it's just like something that you shouldn't stress on if you're thinking that you can't do it, because you definitely can. And I'm not sponsored or endorsed by Music Nomad, but that's the path I would recommend if you want to learn how to do it. And I'm telling you, I've set up now I've got a lot of guitars, like 10 guitars. My Gretsch, Brian Setzer Gretsch, my Gibson Les Paul Standard, my Fender Elite, and a new Epiphone Alpine White Epiphone custom Gibson Les Paul that I got, the ones that they just came out with a couple years ago. And I set all of these guitars up so good and way better than anybody that really has ever worked on my guitars at like a legitimate guitar shop in my life. And it's just flabbergasting. Like, it's like, what the fuck, right? So I know now that a lot of those people that work at those shops, they're not like gods, right? And you shouldn't put them up on a pedestal. A lot of them are learning as they work, probably. And I literally I threw in the towel the last time I took a guitar to this shop over in Carlsbad, and I was just let down. Like, the girl, bless her heart, cool girl, but she slammed the stop bar on my Gibson Les Paul Standard all the way down, flush with the body, and so the back of the strings were hitting the bridge big time, right? And so just anybody that knows anything about Gibson Les Paul just knows that's a fucking no-no, right? Like, duh. Right, you're gonna have massive string breakage here problems doing that, and maybe mess with your tone a little bit. It's just not a good practice, right? Some people are like, oh yeah, go for it. I'm not one of those. I'm like, I've read enough and done enough research on it to sway with the side that goes, you should be able to put a piece of regular, like, copy paper under each string, and if you can't do that, then the string's touching the bridge too much, right? So that's kind of what I use as a gauge. The cool thing about all these Epiphones that I've rebuilt, though, these are Epiphones, not the Gibson Les Paul Standard had that problem. These Epiphones do not have that issue, and for some reason, just the way they're built, maybe it's the metric system you're using, right? So the USA Gibson Les Pauls are all using the imperial measurement system, for pickup ring size, bridge, things of that nature. Not probably, just everything's on and I think that's, more English or whatever, right? And so then you've got the metric system, which in the Far East they use big time. Like all the Korean, China, Japanese made guitars are all primarily using the metric system, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something to be cognizant of when you're working on guitars in the to the manufacturing. Anyway, that's in there. I did some fret filing. Some frets were uneven here and there, and that's done. And then these are Dunlop. They're not Dunlop brand locking tuners, but for their locking tuner system, these are like a knockoff brand off of Amazon, a cheaper knockoff brand. So I've tested them, they work perfectly good, and they're just as good in my mind for lower cost. Then all the wiring is new, and the wiring kits I use are Musically Pro, LP Standard, Musically Pro LP Standard Modern 60s Plus Treble Bleed pre-wired wiring kit for Epiphone Les Paul style electric guitars. 47 bucks roughly. Complete kit, right? So I stripped all the guts out of this thing and replaced everything, right? So all the wiring's new, toggle switch. The toggle switch, all the plastic parts are all brand new. Okay, it was all cream colored before, cream colored is horrible for guitars. I mean, cream goes in coffee, great, but for me, not on guitars. So anytime I get a guitar with cream colored plastic parts on it, I don't like it. And on these Epiphones, I've replaced everything with black. I just think it looks a lot cooler. Okay, so all the new wiring, and then the pickups are from Guitar Parts Zone, and I've talked about this guy, eBay seller, in a few of my prior videos. He's awesome. I mean, the guy makes these pickups for like 1/6 of the price. Like these were 40 bucks, 45 bucks, and they're it's an SH4 JB Bridge pickup knockoff, and a 59 Seymour Duncan 59, I believe, or the Marzio 59, whoever makes the 59 pickup. But they sound phenomenal, and you'll see when I play it. Yet they sound just like the real deal, and it's just like, for me, it's a no-brainer with these cheaper guitars. Rebuilding them, I'm not gonna spend 200 bucks or more on a pair of pickups. Anyway, unless it was something real special, right? So, this guitar probably sold new for $400 or $500. Do you really want to go and spend more than 200 bucks on a pair of pickups for that? Maybe. If I had the money and it wasn't killing me, I'd do it. But I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't, because these pickups again are just, they sound so good, and they just sound just like the real deal. Anyway, moving on. New pickup, pickguard, new knobs, new jack plate. Yeah, and so new plastic on the back. And so you can see the wood there, right? The grain and everything that was all hiding under the black paint, ebony black paint. There's the neck. It just looks cool, right? To me, I don't know. Maybe some people wouldn't like it and think it's crazy, but there's a serial number, 05. Yeah, I just wanted to showcase this thing, and maybe you can buy it off Reverb. But what I'm trying to do is, I've been rebuilding guitars. I'm gonna keep a lot of them. I want to keep a lot of them because they're so good. I can't believe how good they're coming out and sounding with the good pickups and all the good parts. And for like about 150 bucks, that's the cost of all these parts that I just ran through. 40, 15, 45, $8 for these, 55 pickups, 40, so 95. Then the wiring harness, what did I say, 47 bucks. So that's 130, maybe $150 $135, and then the plastic parts another 15, 20 bucks, and that's it. That's $150. So if you have a cheap guitar, you can rebuild it for pretty cheap and learn how to solder and do the pickups yourself. I mean, oh, that's another thing. How many times did I take a guitar in that I wanted to get a new pickup installed, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to fucking solder. That's too crazy for me. I couldn't do it. And I mean, fucking what a pussy, man. Jesus. Sometimes I hate myself because these things are just so easy, right? Like, I just taught myself how to solder. I watched like a couple videos on YouTube, and I'm like, duh. Took metal shop in 8th grade, and I was welding with a fucking mask on and shit, and using lathes and all this crazy shit. And here I am, growing into my older years, thinking I can't solder for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. Like, this is how retarded I am. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, but this is how silly I was. Even taking a pickup out, I didn't understand, because I never really took the time to take it apart and look how the springs worked, right? And I was like, oh my God, if I take that pickup out, I'm liable to not be able to ever get it back in, and I'll have to take it down to the shop. And it's just like, what, dude, what? Silly, man. Really weird. But anyway, I don't want to beat myself up too much, because hopefully that sounds a little bit like you guys and girls. Maybe. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you're just smarter than me. Right? You can't be smart about everything in life. Alright, I'm going to run through a couple songs on this thing. Let's see what it sounds like. I am playing through my JVM 205H to my Zilla cab, 212 cab. That cab, by the way, has a V30 and a 75 watt creamback, Celestion creamback in it. Not the Alnico. GH, there's a couple of ones. There's a 65 watt, there's a 75 watt. This got the 75 watt one. But, and that's a cool mix of speaker sounds. Anyway, yeah, green channel, gains on about 11, 10. On the bridge pickup, SH4 knockoff. Different and shifted up is because, of course, the G to the B string, right? The G string being, you know, instead of being the E, A, the perfect circle of fifths or whatnot, you know, they did it, the guitar differently, and on the B string, you know, I'm sorry I'm butchering this, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's tuned up or down in a half step from the other strings in order so that the guitar can be played the way it is with these repeating chord shapes, right? And that's why it was developed like that, probably over hundreds of years of figuring out different tunings and loops, you know, and all this stuff. They finally figured out, like, oh, you know, if we tune it like this, then we can repeat these finger chord shape patterns up and down the neck, which makes it easier to play, and that's the reason for the standard guitar tuning is what I come to learn. But anyway, man, I'm all over the place. Sorry. This is a long video. You know, if you're still watching, I appreciate you hanging in there. But what else? Sorry. But yeah, so that's a wrap, man. Better wrap it up, right? Wyatt? Jesus fucking Christ. Alright? So this is going to be on my Wyatt Scott Reverb shop shortly. For sale. And I'm not sure how much I'm going to ask, but you know, something reasonable. Not too crazy high. But I put a lot of work into it, you know. About probably 15 hours of work. 5-6 hours in the sanding process to get the poor man's faux going, you know. Which I don't know. Again, it's a taste thing, you know. The cool thing about these guitars is they're great. They're great wood. They're fucking awesome instruments if they're set up right and they have good components, good parts. And so that's what this guitar has. So this is gonna blow doors on any fucking Epiphone Les Paul that you could buy, in my humble opinion. Because again, it's got good, higher quality pickups, tuners, Graphtec nut, I mean wiring, and it's set up with care and love and attention to dial it in really good. Again, medium high action. That's just what this instrument's calling for. So, you know, if you want to get super shreddy, probably not the right Gibson Les Paul or Epiphone for you. But again, you can see I'm moving around on it, right? So, that was easy, right? It's not like it's hindering my progress. It's just the action's a little higher than, you know, some people would want. So just that's what I wanted to kind of make clear, so you know what you're getting. But for someone that likes to dig in and blues, hard rock, and band, this is set up perfect, I think. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna over and out. Good night.